Ladies and gentlemen, the genre that shines the most on the Switch, at least in my opinion, and feels like it was made for the Switch, is RPGs. There's so many amazing RPGs. You could probably make like a top 50 video, but in this video I have handpicked the top 10 RPGs on the Nintendo Switch that you absolutely need to play. So let's go and get right into it. So in this video, this would be a mixture of RPGs, so maybe turn-based, jrpgs, 2D RPGs, and any other kind of RPGs you can think of. That would be in this video. Before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, it would truly mean the world to me. Yeah, I'd really appreciate that, and let's go and get right into this video. So the game that I am currently playing, and I'm almost done with, is Sea of Stars, and this is the game that actually inspired me to make this entire video. I really don't know what to say. Like, this is one of the best RPGs I've ever played. It's also one of the best games I think I've ever played on the Switch. I know it's on other consoles, but it feels like it was made for the Switch, and it's just so special. It feels like something you played 10 or 20 years ago, but just in the modern era. And they've done a great job of capturing the essence of an RPG and just all the things that go into one, like the story and the mechanics and the setting. But this game is absolutely beautiful. And then you get to a point in this game to where you're like, okay, you know, I'm like 15 hours in. I kind of understand what the hell's going on now. But then you go to a new location and it feels like you're playing an entirely new game. I don't want to spoil everything, but it's just absolutely perfect. Like, I can't find a complaint in this game. And yeah, you definitely need to check this out. It's full price physically at $40, but I think on the eShop it's only 35 bucks full price, so it's well worth every single penny. Definitely check out Sea of Stars if you get a chance. So I'm not exaggerating when I say this, and every time I talk about this game I have to preface it that way, but South Park: The Stick of Truth is one of the best RPGs I think I've ever played, because it's so faithful to like the source material. Like, you truly are playing through, I guess, a movie or an episode of South Park. And you know, when you watch a show like that, it's so fun. You fall in love with all the characters and all the locations. In South Park: The Stick of Truth, you're a new kid on the block, so you get to become friends with everybody, and you get to explore the entire town of South Park. You get to go into every single business and everybody's house, and it's just such an in-depth game. But the RPG mechanics are so damn good. I'm a huge South Park fan, so I think I was gonna like this no matter what. But the RPG aspect of it really made me fall in love with this game. Don't be fooled by the title. If you like RPGs, definitely check out Stick of Truth. So in mentioning the best RPGs of all time, well, if some of the best RPGs of all time happen to be on the Switch, then, well, some of the best RPGs on the Switch would be some of the best RPGs of all time. I think I'm lost in what I'm trying to say here. Persona 5 Royal. The Persona series is the standard for RPGs. JRPGs, I think, technically, right? I don't know. Regardless, Persona 5 Royal took forever to come to the Switch. And I'm not really sure why, because the version on the Switch looks and runs amazing. Persona 5 Royal is like the extended version of Persona 5, so I think it has like all the DLC and stuff. It's absolutely amazing. It's a longer game, probably like 80 to 100 hours, and it has a lot of dialogue, but it kind of sets up the game. And the same way I was saying the Stick of Truth, you feel like you're playing through an episode of South Park. Persona 5 Royal, you feel like you're playing through an anime, but it really is something special. And the crazy thing, which should be a criminal offense, is all the time physically, like when I'm in Target or Walmart or just pretty much anywhere, I always see a Persona 5 Royal physically for like $25 for the Switch. That's absolutely insane, but it's a good thing for us. So if you want to play one of the best RPGs of all time, definitely check out Persona 5 Royal. So once this next game came to the Switch, it was a no-brainer adding it to this list. And I'm talking about Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. It's so funny, like, when I originally played this on the GameCube, something like 20 years ago, I guess I was playing through an RPG, but I just didn't know it at the time. Because prior to that, the only RPGs I think I had played is like Final Fantasy VII, maybe? But yeah, this is an RPG, and it is a damn good one. I'd argue that it really didn't need a remaster or remake. They could have just ported the GameCube version over, and you would have had basically one of the best RPGs of all time. But I'm glad they remade it because it is really special now. And the approach of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is so cool. You will master your badges and timing-based attacks to impress the audience, and a theatrical twist on turn-based RPG combat. Make use of all the abilities that come with being cursed, or conveniently made of paper. And that's what's so cool, is like, you are Paper Mario, so you can do all these weird things that paper could do, like turn into a paper airplane and a bunch of other stuff I don't want to spoil, but this is a great entry-level RPG. It'll kind of warm you up to the genre, so definitely check this out if you get a chance. So it's so funny, this next game, I always title it wrong. I always just say Dragon Quest XI, but I think the real name is Dragon Quest XI's. But even that's wrong, because it's Dragon Quest XI's, Echoes of an Elusive Age, Definitive Edition. This was my very first Dragon Quest game, and I had this recommended to me a million times. And it was weird because I really wasn't playing RPGs for like a good decade. I had kind of fell away from the genre, and then I played this, fell in love with it. Some people think the music gets repetitive, but I actually love the music in this game. The story is pretty solid, but the battling is where this game shines. And the great thing about this game is it made me fall in love with RPGs. And since playing this like 2 years ago or something, I've probably played like 20 RPGs since then. And yeah, this is a really special game. If you get the chance, man, definitely check this out. So for my birthday this year, I went to the Nintendo store, and I was just going to buy any game, I just wanted to buy something from the Nintendo store. And it's funny, I thought I was buying Sea of Stars, because I'd been wanting to play that. So I just took something off the shelf, purchased it, and then in the hotel room that night I started playing it, and then I was like 30 minutes into I realized I wasn't playing Sea of Stars. And what I had accidentally purchased was Star Ocean: The Second Story R. Kind of similar in the name, also kind of similar in the way they look, like the graphics and art style. Two different games entirely. But for purchasing the wrong game accidentally, I couldn't have picked a better game. I fell in love with this game like every other RPG I guess I play. Like, the visuals are so damn beautiful. It is so cool how they blend 2D and 3D together. This is a remake, I believe, of a series that was on PS1 if I'm not mistaken, but I have to warn you, this game is extremely damn hard. At least it was to me. Like, it was so hard that I was stuck in a certain area for like a whole day, and I finally broke down, put it on easy mode, and I was still stuck there for like a whole nother day. So you really need to pay attention to your party and your playstyles here, but the story is really, really solid, and this game is pretty long, all things considered, but that's a great thing because you're going to fall in love with this, and you're not going to want it to end. So how could I possibly make an RPG list without adding Final Fantasy? It feels like illegal to do that, and it's strange. I thought we would have more Final Fantasy on the Switch. Like, we have enough, I guess, but luckily, my favorite Final Fantasy games of all time are on the Switch and they're remastered. And I'm talking about Final Fantasy X and X-2, or X and X2, whatever the hell you want to call it. But they're on the Switch, and in my opinion, they are perfect. Final Fantasy X tells the story of a star blitzball player, Tidus, who journeys with a young and beautiful summoner named Yuna on her quest to save the world. In Final Fantasy X-2, you return to that world 2 years after the end of the last game. I'll admit, this game is very nostalgic to me and very special to me, so I know I'm a little biased towards it, but these games, regardless, any way you look at them, are amazing. They're masterpieces, and combined, you're getting over 100 hours of gameplay. And the great thing is, when you buy this, you buy it as a package, so you're spending like 40 or 50 bucks for 2 games, and I think that's the perfect price for this. In my opinion, Final Fantasy X and X-2 have some of the best stories in all of Final Fantasy, and some of the best characters. I actually love these characters. I love the setting, and if you've never played a Final Fantasy game, this wouldn't be a bad one to jump into. So definitely check these out if you get a chance. The next game we're talking about today is Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. Join Oliver as he embarks on an adventure through a world inhabited by new friends and furious foes, in hopes of bringing back his mother after a tragic incident. He will travel across a rich fantasy world to tame familiars, take on enemies, and overcome the countless challenges that stand between him and his mother's salvation. And one of the greatest things about this is a solid ass RPG, a very solid one. Great story, but the animation is done by Studio Ghibli, and it just adds so much to this. It is so fun. If I had to compare this to anything, I would almost compare it to Pokemon. It kind of gives me that vibes, like you're not using Pokemon, but it's kind of that style of an RPG. And this often goes on sale in the eShop for like 15 or 20 bucks, so if you get the chance, definitely check this out. The next RPG on the Switch that you need to play is Bravely Default 2. You need to save the continent with the help of these new heroes of light. Follow the story of a young sailor, Seth, as he sets out on a grand adventure and meets plenty of friends and foes along the way. Balance risk and reward in turn-based battles. Characters can make multiple moves in one turn, but they may be unable to perform actions for a while. So balance is the key here. And a cool thing about this is, even though this is Bravely Default 2, if you haven't played the first one, that doesn't matter at all because this is a brand new story, new location, new characters. So they're completely separate from each other. But if you enjoy this, there's a good chance you're going to enjoy the first one. And yeah, this is one of the RPGs that are often kind of overlooked on the Switch, I feel like. And that's a shame because it is a very solid game. And for the last spot, I mean, there's truly like 100 RPGs I could just close my eyes and pick one. And they could probably make this list. But I know which one I'm going to pick. And it may be a little controversial, but I feel very solid picking this. I'm talking about Super Mario RPG. I mean, how could I not pick a game that literally has RPG in the title? I never played this back when it was on Super Nintendo, I think. But I had heard amazing things about it. And I was looking for a game to play like a month or two ago, and I picked this up used. And I was like, I'll just play around with this till I find something else. And then I just kept playing it a little more, and a little more, and then I beat the game. This is a shorter game, all things considered. I think this is only around like 10 hours, but it is perfect the entire way through. The game looks so damn beautiful, and you can use like these special moves with all 3 characters or 4 characters or whatever. And when you use it, the game animations and like the battle sequence, it almost looks like a look into the Switch 2, because I truly couldn't believe something looked this good on the Switch. And in my opinion, it really is a perfect game, the entire 10 hours through. Like, there's no pacing problems, no story problems. You just keep going, and it never feels like it starts dragging or anything, so I have no problem adding this for the 10th and final spot. Ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, those were the 10 RPGs that you need to play on the Switch. Now that's what's cool about this. My 10 are going to be different from your 10. So in the comments below, let me know any games that I missed, or any RPGs you think I should check out. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you could, I would really appreciate a follow. And you guys know me, I'll see you soon with a new video. Peace out.